Now I go to the dashboard. In place of the last two segments in the URL, I just write dashboard and hit enter. I said that when the last segment is dashboard, the dashboard.php must load. Here I see that there is an error message for me which tells me the requested URL was not found on the server. Whenever you want to apply clean URLs on your applications, make sure that the rewrite underscore module of the Apache modules is checked, as you see here. I should tell you that I am going to rewrite the URLs of this application using ajax file. Now I go to the root folder of the application and create a nameless file or a file without a name with .ajax extension. The first thing that I need to write inside the ajax file is to write a rewrite engine on. Now here I define a rule using the rewrite rule, and then my pattern, that is dashboard, and then the substitution part. In this rule, I have said that when the last segment of the URL is dashboard, the dashboard.php file, which resides inside the views folder, must be loaded. Now I save the changes and go to the browser, reload the contents. I see that when the last segment of the URL is dashboard, the dashboard.php must load, and it has already loaded. Now if I go to view page resource and click either of these style sheets links, I see that no one works. I mean, no style sheet file has loaded. So what I need to do here is to go to my header.php, which resides inside a templates folder, and I need to remove all these dots and forward slashes. Save the changes and go back to the browser, reload the contents, and click one of these links. I see that all of them work. Now I reload the contents here. I see that these styles that were written inside these style sheets have been applied. Now, if I see my JavaScript and jQuery links here, I see that no one works. So, what I need to do here is go to my footer.php, which resides inside the templates folder, and remove all these dots and slashes as well. So I need to save the changes and go back to the browser here, reload the contents, and click some of these links. I see that they work. Now if I write a reports here, the reports.php file must load. Still there is that error message for me which tells me that the requested URL was not found. So I go back to my ajax file and create another rule. I copy this piece of code and paste it here, change this dashboard to reports and this dashboard to reports as well. So the reports.php file also exists or resides inside the views folder. Here I said that when the last segment of the URL is reports, the reports.php file must load in the browser. I save the changes and go back to the browser and reload the contents. I see that the rule that I've recently created works as well. Now I go to password and security. Here I see that I have been redirected to the profile.php file, which resides inside the views folder. But still there is this error message for me, which tells me that the requested URL was not found on the server. I go back to the application. I go to my htaccess file, copy this rule, and paste it here and change this reports to security. And this reports to profile. Save the changes and go to the browser. Now, instead of reports, I write security and hit the enter. I see that it works. I mean, when the last segment of the URL is security, the profile.php can load.